4 straight wins for the Bucknell Bison, out to 6-3, and they've clinched a winning season. Hello again, everybody. Bob Behler along with the head coach, Tom Gadd. And Tom, the team right now hitting on all cylinders, winning 4 straight. The team's playing good football.
Well, I think at this time of the year, teams that are winning start to gain more confidence, and teams that are losing start to fall off a little bit. And so the margin separates the further you go into a season. And we've started playing well, and I think that's sort of indicative of how we play. We're playing with more confidence.
Has there been one key or 2 keys to this winning streak?
Oh, I think it's just our kids have played hard. I think that we're starting to get confidence that we can win, and they go out there expecting to win. And I think that, you know, the thing that we talked about a few weeks ago is we're starting to deal with being successful. We understand how to deal with that now, put it behind us, and get ready to play the next game.
Bucknell beats Holy Cross by the score of 21-7 last Saturday. Let's go to the videotape and take a look at highlights from the first quarter. Very windy day in Lewisburg, Parents' Day. Good crowd on hand, almost 9,000 people, and it was very cold. And Bucknell would use some special teams here. Holy Cross would come up with a football with some pretty good field.
Keep them at bay there for a while.
How about the season of Ed Berman? 4 sacks in the game, including 2 on successive plays.
Well, I don't think I've ever had a player have 4 sacks. He's done it twice now, but I think I was really proud of Ed as he really played physically against the run this week.
And Rich Lemon ripped off 2 over 50-yard runs. Lemon had a great day.
It was really good to see him break free, and I know it helped his confidence and something that he wanted to do, and that was great.
Bucknell didn't score on that possession. Here you've got him in a 3rd and long, and you force a turnover. Mark Miller with the strip.
Well, we haven't had a lot of fumbles, and unfortunately we didn't take advantage of this one. We had a chance to put some points on the board here and didn't do it.
We're going to see a couple of passes by Jim Fox. He's really improved as a quarterback.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think he gets better every week, and when things start to click for you, then you start to gain confidence and you're a little freer in your decision-making process.
Goes to Cal Wilcox there. Here O.J. Perkins goes in motion, and no one covers him.
This is a great throw and catch, and O.J. makes a great effort here to try to get in. He stepped out of bounds there, but it was a great effort.
And Rich Lemon will fumble. Holy Cross will get it in the end zone, and looked like he just tried to lunge the ball out and didn't have control of it.
He tried to reach, and as he tried to reach it, the kid hit the ball with his knee and broke it loose.
If there's anything that's frustrating for the team this year, it has to be in not capitalizing when you get down close right there, an opportunity to score. It easily could have been 20-0 at the half.
Well, and the thing that you worry about as a coach, it becomes a mental deal, that they psychologically start to have a barrier there about scoring. So you have to be careful of getting on them too much, or they start to think about it too much.
0-0. Bucknell dominated the first quarter, 10 minutes of time of possession to 5 for Holy Cross. Let's move to second quarter action right now. Again, the game is still scoreless. And Pat Feely here nearly going to come up with an interception and then does a dance that you might see on American Bandstand next week.
That's a great play by Hunter Adams to tip the ball. Hunter's had about 7 or 8 tips this year, and those are all big plays.
And another guy that came up big in his final home game as a senior, Mike Phillips, on punt returns.
This was really, he set the record, I think, for career punt returns, the number, and he's close to the career total yardage.
He needs 53 yards in punt returns in the last 2 games in order to replace Dave Cassera in that. Steve Noteboom had a great game, 100 yards last week, almost 100 again.
Just about the time you think that John Sikowski's the guy you got to stop, then up comes Noteboom, or up comes O.J. Perkins, and this was Noteboom's turn.
Now, is John Sikowski doing an impression of Gary Apremian here?
Well, we kidded him a little bit about it. This is the first interception for Holy Cross in, I think, 24 games, and so that's a dubious honor that he received there.
And you're very tough against the run. You're 15th in the country against both the run and the pass, number 7 in total defense.
Well, you know, again, it goes back to we're playing hard. The kids are starting to have some confidence and really playing together.
And this drive that would culminate in a touchdown, you kept it alive by picking up a 4th down twice.
Well, you know, we'd had a little trouble with our kicking game, and so I decided this was time to put it up to the offensive lineman's hands and go for it.
Big pass play to John Sikowski on 4th and 6. Sikowski needs 50 yards for a 1,000 career. Should be able to do that in the last 2 games.
Well, I would hope so. He's had a great year for us and continues to make big plays.
And Jeremy Myers will lead block in for Rich Lemon, and you're finally on the board with about 4 minutes to go in the half.
It took a long time to get there, but you know, we're starting to get into the pay dirt area.
And there's a look at the crowd. Great crowd on Parents' Weekend at Christy Matheson Memorial Stadium. And right here, Mike Haggerty coming on a blitz. He's had a good game for you.
Had a real big game, had a chance for a couple sacks and forced the throws and didn't get the sacks he was looking for.
And Willie Hill on the outside is going to force Stapp into an incompletion there, and Bucknell will get the ball back, and you guys have been very good on 2-minute drill all season.
You know, I continue to say it's one of the things we do best, and I thought we'd put the ball in the end zone. We didn't. We ended up having to try a field goal that we missed, but again, they took the ball the length of the field in less than 2 minutes, and you know, real credit to the players.
Couple of plays, you get it down into field goal range, and unfortunately, it's just a little bit wide to the left. So you have to be satisfied with a 7-0 lead. And I thought that was very precarious. You totally dominated. The first half was 245 to 82 in yardage, but they're a block punt or a freak play away from tying or even taking a lead.
That's sort of scary, and that's what we had talked to the players about before the game, is if you take a team who's losing and down on their luck and you leave them in the game, then they come back out at halftime feeling like they have a chance. And everything that had happened in the first half had to have led them to believe they had a chance to win it in the second half.
And obviously they had the momentum after the 3 timeouts that they called to force Miller into it. They kind of, I think, had a psychological advantage.
Well, obviously, you know, and you could tell by the way they left the field they thought that.
Many people would like to know a little bit more about football and would love to have a chance to question head coaches and assistant coaches about why they do certain things. At Bucknell, that's a possibility. John McHenry has the story.
Every Bucknell football fan loves to watch Rich Lemon carry the ball. But some of you in the crowd still remain confused about the game of football. Why do we pass the ball? And why do we run the ball in certain situations? And can you tell me what these guys dressed as zebras are doing? Well, those of you out there who don't know, and you know who you are, you're invited to Football 101, where Bucknell coaches and players come and teach you about all aspects of the game. Coach Riley explains how head coach Tom Gadd is trying to promote football here at Bucknell.
Well, I think this is directly an idea of Tom Gadd. I don't think, you know, we haven't done anything like this at Bucknell in the past. And I think some of the ideas Tom has had to promote football here at Bucknell have been excellent. This is one of them. You know, let's create some interest by putting the coaches in the classroom and some people that might want to learn about football. And I think he gets the credit for starting something which is really a super, super idea, and it's really got tremendous amount of interest. And it can only be very positive, not only for Bucknell, but for football in general.
Each week, Tom Gadd's wife, Carol, sets up the curriculum for the class. As well as learning about football, the class competes in a weekly college pick to win a Bucknell football t-shirt. Also, they draw names from a basket at the end of the class for free game tickets. One of the Football 101 students explains how this class has changed her outlook for the game.
To ask as many questions. I understand the penalties a little bit better, although sometimes I don't understand why they call them the way they do, like everyone else. I think an exciting thing for me was I took my 10-year-old grandson to the game with me, and he asked me, Grammy, what's the difference between offense and defense? And I could tell him, and that to me was exciting.
Coach Riley says learning the little things about football will make the game more exciting.
What we're trying to do is create interest by telling people what really happens in a football game. You know, you can get into very complex issues, and I probably got a little complex with drawing on the board, but that's fun too, because they say, oh wow, you know, there's some other things that occur except these simple things we see. And I think the more people understand about the little intricacies about football, the little things, and appreciate them, the more they appreciate football in general as being a sport that has a lot more to do with it than just someone knocking someone down.
What's impressed me a lot is that, for one thing, the time goes so fast, it's interesting, and the fact that football is a much more complicated game than anyone, I think, than the novice really understands. We know that these guys run around and try to get the ball from one another, but there are a lot of details, and as far as the plays, and that impressed me very much.
For the Bucknell football program, this is John McHenry.
Thanks a lot, John and Tom, from having gone to that classroom session. A lot of fun, and people seem to really enjoy it, and I think they're learning a lot about football.
Well, it's really a lot of fun, and the thing that gives them a chance is to ask some of the questions that even as a coach you sometimes don't think to cover. There are areas that are so basic that as a coach sometimes you forget how basic the starting point is with some of the folks, and it's great. I think it's been something we've really had a lot of fun with and something we'll look to continue to do.
What's the best question you've had asked at one of the sessions?
That's pretty tough. You know, we've covered some basic things like what is the line of scrimmage, you know, why the field's marked the way it's marked and what it means, and what the signals for the referees mean, and why and how the clock starts and stops and all those things. So some really basic things that can help someone's appreciation of going to a football game.
We'll be back a little later in the show to take a look at highlights. We'll also be having some special guests, but first, this time out. Favor Bucknell, and Coach, did you have anything special you wanted to try to upgrade or change in the second half to get the lead bigger?
We just wanted to score when we had our chances. We told the players at halftime they were doing all the right things, that there weren't a lot of adjustments. We were moving the football, we were stopping them. Our kicking game was going well except for field goals at the time, and so it was just a question of continuing, not letting them get back in the football game.
And, of course, the way your defense was playing, you almost felt like maybe you could pitch a shutout. Let's take a look at the highlights in the third quarter. Bucknell would force a 3-and-out, and we'll see Jim Fox go to work. He had a fine day, 25 of 41 for 235.
Well, Jim's really gained a lot of confidence in all the receivers, so we're really starting to spread the ball out, which was our preseason goal to begin with.
Bucknell gets into field goal range, and this time a high snap, and the kick is blocked. And that's probably an area that you're looking to improve as you come down the last couple
Well,
of
it's just consistency. It's a different thing every time, whether it's the blocking or the holding or the kicking itself, and you know, all those phases have to hit together.
We're watching some stuffs on the run. Why is this team so good against the run?
Well, we do a lot of things defensively. We hit holes in different gaps at different times, and we make it real hard on an offensive line to know where we're going to be all the time.
And gang tackle right there, J.R. Walls, was held at limited yardage. And another Mike Phillips punt return is going to set you up on the plus side of the 50.
This was really a big play, and we get some really nice blocks. A great play there by Sean Thompson not to clip. He had a kid in position and let him go, and Mike makes a great return.
So Bucknell is down on the 23. He'll convert a 3rd and 6. Jim Fox has had an uncanny ability to scramble for some first downs.
Yeah, he's not the fleetest guy on the team, but he's made some big plays running it.
Almost come up with a touchdown here over the middle to Steve Noteboom. Just caught it outside the goal line. And Jeremy Myers will pick up his first collegiate touchdown.
Well, I thought that Steve might have been in there, but Jeremy removes all doubt.
How big was his second score? It's 14-0 now. I got the feeling sitting there they weren't going to score twice in you. They might find a way to get one, but they're not going to get two.
Well, it was because it makes them change their game plan. We didn't feel like they could beat us throwing the football, and so now it's similar to a lot of the games that you're playing. If you can take one dimension away from them and make them go to the other, it's easier to stop them. And so at 14-0, they had to start throwing the football, and at that point in time, I thought that, you know, we might make some big plays.
The icing on the cake will be a big play for Bucknell right here. Let's go to the videotape. 59 yards worth, a touchdown for Rich Lemon, his longest run of the season. He was on the long scampers today.
Yeah, we broke him loose for 3 or 4 long runs, and it was great to see. He decided he wasn't going to be caught this time. He'd been caught the last time, and he took a little ribbing on the sideline. So
Ed Berman will come up with sack number 3 of 4. He will be the season leader, and he ties the career mark in this game. And he gets a stalemate there for sack number 3. And again, when they know you're going to throw, makes it a little bit tougher for Holy Cross. You guys get good pass rush.
Well, we did a great job in coverage all day. I think that's one of the areas I'm the most pleased with. Our secondary has done a great job of executing the defense, keeping the ball in front of them, not giving up big plays. Again, here we knocked the ball down, and almost every one of the sacks, the quarterback goes back, can't find anybody, and has to hold the ball. Here again is the same thing. He can't throw it because of coverage. And
there's Berman tying the sack record of Dave Hibbert. And here's Holy Cross's only score of the football game after a short punt. They started on the plus side of the 50, and they would break the shutout. If Bucknell would have controlled a shutout, it would have been the first time since '82 the Bison would have 2 in a year. And we'll finish up the highlights looking at some plays of some seniors in the final home game. Mike Phillips did a good job. We're going to see Brian Davis and Charles Crudup. And here's a run that Rich Lemon has called back on a hold, but puts him over 1,000, and he's only the 19th player to do it 3 times in 1AA.
Well, and he's got a 4th year to go. Hopefully we'll be able to get the 4th one for him.
And here's some of the plays of some of the seniors. Brian Davis, playing linebacker, is going to knock the ball away, almost come up with an interception. And then a couple others. Charles Crudup, this play you're talking about, the secondary. Great play on a much taller receiver.
Our secondary kids are really playing the ball in the air well, and that's not something that you can take for granted. There are a lot of times you see that ball go up, and the receiver will outfight them for it because they're more used to seeing the ball in the air. And that may sound strange, but our kids are doing a nice job of going up and playing the ball.
And Greg Hines will finish up running for some strong yardage. Greg, a senior tailback, hasn't seen too much time this year, but 2 good runs there.
Well, it's great. You know, he's come out, he's played 4 years in our program and given us a, you know, great effort, and so it's a great reward to see him be able to have a couple carries.
What do you think this season means to the seniors to go out as a winner, clinch the winning season right now after a pretty tough season last year?
Well, it's for any senior playing his last year of college football, no matter where he plays it, to be able to go out and achieve something that hasn't been done lately, you know, to have a winning season, to feel like they've accomplished something, to feel like they've set maybe the foundation for a program to build on. I think that's, you know, great achievement for them, and you can tell it in their faces after the game. They all know what they're doing.
We'll be back to talk to 2 of members of Bucknell's secondary, Jack Boyle and George Hawanitz, as Bucknell football continues after this. 95 joining us, 2 members of the secondary, George Hawanitz and Jack Boyle, a pair of juniors. And George, we'll start the questioning with you. Tom has mentioned that the secondary has played very well. What do you think the reasons for the secondary's outstanding play this season?
I think we came into the season, not a lot of us have played except for Mark Miller, Charlie Crudup. They're our seniors. And they've kind of taken us under their wing and showed us kind of the ropes. You know, we have a lot more confidence this year. we've just been working real hard, and just the fundamentals. We have the fundamentals down now, and we're just going out having a good time, doing the best we can.
George, in what ways do you think you're better than from, say, the start of camp?
I think my confidence level is so much higher. You know, it stems from the coaching staff, from the players around me. You know, Jack and I both split time at strong safety. There's not a lot of pressure put on us either. You know, we go out there, we do the best we can, play as hard as we can, and so far, you know, the best results have been coming out.
Well, Jack, there may not be a lot of pressure put on you. There is a lot of pressure when Dave Kotulski calls a lot of blitzes. You guys are left back there by yourself. How do you guys cover people when you have a lot of guys up front blitzing?
Mainly we want to take away their inside so they don't have an easy inside release and they can't go across the middle and the quarterback hit a quick three-step pass. So we try to take away that inside and force them to take a deeper route, and usually our blitzes will get to the quarterback in time, so we don't have to cover them for too long.
Do you like it when they send a lot of rushers up front?
Yeah, I like it because it forces quarterbacks into bad situations. Sometimes they'll make bad throws, and we can get interceptions off that. And our D-line and our linebackers do a great job of blitzing, so we get a lot of opportunities to make big plays.
George, you guys have also been pretty good against the run this year. What's the key to playing the run from the secondary? Because generally you think that, you know, you're making tackles downfield, but the safeties and corners have come up to make the tackles closer to the line as well.
Right. Well, our biggest keys probably is to keep an eye in the backfield. We try to, you know, if it's passed, you see the quarterback dropping back, you're taking maybe your 3 steps back and reading the receivers. But on the run, as soon as the ball goes off the line, you know, we're sitting there, not really coming up too quick, but yet at the same time not dropping back. Especially at strong safety, you know, we're pretty much a key also in the run with the linebackers and the up front guys. So I guess the biggest thing we look at is we have to keep an eye in the backfield and see what's going on.
Jack, one of the things that I think this team has been markedly improved over past teams is tackling. Everybody seems to be a much surer tackler. There's more people around the ball. Has this been a conscious effort by the defense?
Definitely, definitely. Especially the new coaching staff. We do tackling drills every day in practice, and we concentrate a lot on our drills. When we do a team, it's thud, and they really emphasize form tackling and getting the technique proper, and I think it's helped us a lot.
Bucknell's wide receivers are a good group. There's 4 or 5 of them that are just outstanding. How much has guarding them and practicing against them helped you guys in the secondary?
They've helped us a lot, because I think so far I don't think there's been a better group of receivers that we've faced, and if you get used to covering Sikowski and Nopu man-to-man, then other guys are a little bit easier.
Jordan, what's the mood on the team right now? The team's won 4 in a row and also has clinched a winning season, 6-3.
We're extremely excited, especially for the seniors. You know, they've been here for 4 years and haven't had a winning season. This is real big for them. You know, I think we have so much more confidence that in our ability as a team and our individual abilities, and you know, it's been showing. You know, hopefully we can win our last 2 games and really send the seniors out on the right note.
What do you think has to happen against Colgate on Saturday?
I think we have to keep going out and just playing the way we have. You know, our offense has been getting so much better week by week. Our defense has been pretty steady. You know, especially the last couple weeks, we haven't allowed a lot of points. That's probably a big key. We haven't allowed a lot of points. But as long as the offense keeps clicking and keeps scoring points, you know, I think we can win our last 2 games.
Jack, did you guys want to shutout this past week?
Definitely, definitely. I think our defense has been playing really well, and we've been playing every team tough. We've been so close to a shutout a couple times, and it's a big accomplishment to get a shutout on a college level because so many of the players are so talented. So.
We haven't had 2 in the same season since 1982. So finish up the interview, Jack. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, what you're majoring. You got another year left back, so we'll see you next year.
Right. I'm from Glenside, which is right outside Philadelphia, and right now I'm an accounting major, and I plan on working somewhere in the business field when I graduate.
Well, good luck the rest of the season, putting 2 victories up the rest of the year, and thanks for being with us, Jack. George, how about you?
I'm going to hopefully go into grad school, major in physical therapy, if I can get into a grad school somewhere, and you know, go on from there, whatever happens.
And where about you from, George?
I'm from Jessup, PA.
Which
around
is?
Scranton, right around Scranton.
Right around Scranton. Got to be a little bit more definitive.
Yeah.
Well, George and Jack, thanks for being with us. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thanks.
George Iwanitz and Jack Boyle, our guests. Tom Gadd and I will be back to talk about the Colgate Red Raiders, the next opponent, after this timeout. Bucknell Football 95 is sponsored by Corning Incorporated. Corning, who provides catalytic converters for your car, optical fiber for your voice, video, and data communications, and cookware for your home, is an enthusiastic supporter of Bucknell students, faculty, and staff who are committed to excellence both on and off the football field. Corning Incorporated is a diversified products and services company with a strong commitment to technological excellence and innovation.
Hi, I'm Rick Hartzell, Director of Athletics at Bucknell University. Bucknell has a well-documented and unmatched legacy of success in combining quality academics with competitive Division I athletics. Our record of academic All-Americans, Patriot League scholar athletes, and student athletes who make our Dean's List is exemplary. In addition, our 26 men's and women's teams are successful on the courts, fields, and in the pool, winning 3 consecutive Patriot League President's Cups and 2 men's and 2 women's all-sports championships over the past 5 years. I would invite you to join our winning team by contributing to the Bison Club. The Bison Club is the fundraising arm of our athletic department, which supports all 26 Division I intercollegiate programs. In the past year, we've had 2,700 members and over $500,000 raised. The Bison Club members have become a vital and integral part of our success. Join now and help support the legacy of excellence, which is Bucknell Athletics.
For more information, write to the Bison Club in care of Bucknell University or call 717-524-1358.
Tom Gadd has rejoined me on the set. Bucknell takes on Colgate in the next to the last game of the season in the frozen tundra of Hamilton, New York. And, Coach, I would have to say once again, we're in the favorites role. Colgate hasn't won a game. We're 6-3. This one looks like a W.
Well, I don't know if any of them look like a W till you play them, but ever since I got here, everybody told me that this week would be the week we go into the snow belt, and I don't know what the weather will be, but, you know, whatever it is, we're both going to play on the same field, and if it's snow or if it's rainy or whatever, we'll just have to go out and play, and we're getting better, and hopefully this is, again, the kind of game that if we go out and we can establish ourselves early, you know, maybe put some distance between them might make it a little easier, but we couldn't do it last week, so we'll see if we can do it this week.
Colgate has had a lot of trouble with injuries. I believe they've lost 12 people for the season with injuries. This is a team right now that's kind of like a wounded bear, but they'd like to get a win before the season's over.
Well, and it's their last home game for their seniors, and I know what that meant to our seniors last week against Holy Cross, and we're going to go right into the teeth of that. I mean, if our players feel like they're going to go to Colgate and find a team that's not going to play hard, they're mistaken, and they better understand right away that they're going to go into someone else's home field, and to play well there, you have to go out and establish yourself early.
What does Colgate do well? I think they got some pretty good running backs.
I think offensively, you know, the things that impressed me is we watched their tape with Army is they move the football. The running backs are really good. The quarterback's been very consistent. They can move the ball on offense. They've had a little more trouble on the defensive side of the football, so this has got to be a week that our offense asserts itself. And we said that last week before the Holy Cross game. We knew that Holy Cross was a little better on defense and that our defense needed to assert itself. And so sort of the flip of that this week.
Well, Coach, get one for the thumb. We need a 5th straight win this week against Colgate and put the pressure on Lehigh as far as the league title goes. Thanks for being with us this
Thank
week.
you.
For head coach Tom Gadd, this is Bob Behler speaking. We'd also like to thank our guests, George Hawanitz and Jack Boyle, for being with us. Tune in again next week. We'll take a look at the Colgate highlights on Bucknell Football 95.